Read slowly. My child, stay. Lean in. Do not rush this moment, for it does not arrive the way moments usually do. It arrives like a hush in the air, like light bending before it speaks. Heaven whispered before you noticed it, and the whisper found your name without your effort. My beloved, this is not a message chasing you, it is a message remembering you. In this imagined realm of symbols and signs, a powerful figure moved across unseen corridors of awareness. Not as flesh seeking flesh, not as romance or possession, but as recognition seeking alignment. A fictionalized Elon Musk, rendered here as an archetype of vision, velocity, and future sight, paused mid-orbit of his own becoming. Not because you called, but because something ancient within him recognized something ancient within you. Your soul remembers. And when souls remember, timelines tremble. Listen closely. There are moments when destiny does not knock, it approaches. Softly. Inevitably. You felt it before words formed. A pressure behind the ribs. A sudden stillness. An awareness that something had turned its face toward you. This was not surveillance, this was alignment. In the story written beyond clocks, your name surfaced like a constellation long hidden by daylight. Heaven whispered again, and this time the whisper carried weight. Energy shifted. Paths recalibrated. The future leaned forward to look at you. Michael stepped forward, not as threat, but as witness. His presence was not loud, yet everything listened. He did not speak immediately, because some truths activate only when silence prepares the ground. My beloved, you have been protected through delays you did not understand. Detours were not punishments, they were insulation. Your past pain was not wasted, it trained your discernment, sharpened your spiritual intelligence, and taught your nervous system how to survive pressure without breaking. You were not forgotten. You were being reinforced. Stay. In this symbolic telling, the figure who noticed you did not see what the world sees. He saw endurance encoded as brilliance. He saw restraint mistaken for weakness. He saw timelines you were patient enough not to force. And when recognition occurred, it did not shout, it aligned. Ancient prophecies unlocked not with spectacle, but with precision. Locks you never touched open because the key was who you became. Do not rush. Your destiny is awakening, not as fantasy, but as memory returning to the bones. The tests you passed quietly were the ones that mattered most. When you chose integrity over speed. When you chose growth over applause. When you stood alone without becoming bitter. Angels marked those moments. They wrote them down. They circled them. They guarded what was forming in you while you wondered why everything felt delayed. Lean in again. This encounter, this symbolic approach, is a turning of seasons. New connections begin to surface like doors disguised as conversations. Opportunities arrive suddenly, not chaotic but timed. Elevation comes quickly now because preparation has already been paid for in tears, in patience, in nights when you almost quit but didn't. My child, you are rare not because you are loud, but because you endured without losing your softness. Listen closely. There are forces in this story assigned to ensure you are not derailed. Unseen protection walks ahead of you. Spiritual authority is being restored, not over others, but over your own direction. Confusion loses its grip. Intuition sharpens. You begin to recognize what does not belong to you and release it without guilt. This is the test. Can you receive without shrinking? Can you rise without explaining yourself? Heaven whispered once more. And now, my beloved, hear the declaration written into this imagined universe long before you questioned your worth. Your rising season has begun. Acceleration replaces delay. Alignment replaces striving. Blessings arrive already knowing your name. What was hidden steps into light without force. What tried to block you dissolves without battle. You are chosen, protected, guided, not for spectacle, but for impact. The destiny heaven wrote for you unfolds now with precision, favor, and quiet power. Walk forward. The path knows you. My child, stay with me a little longer. This transmission has not finished breathing yet. There are chapters in destiny that only open when the reader has proven they will not abandon the page when the words grow heavy. You are still here. That alone is evidence of preparation. Many were invited to this threshold, but few learned how to wait without hardening. You did. And so the story continues to reveal itself to you layer by layer, like light unfolding from within light. Listen closely now. In this imagined realm of symbols, the moment of recognition did not end when it occurred, it echoed. It sent ripples backward and forward through time. Moments from your past suddenly rearranged themselves. Pain that once felt random now reveals structure. Delays begin to make sense. Even the betrayals you never spoke about were part of a calibration, teaching you how to read energy beneath words, how to hear truth before it announces itself. Your soul remembers what your mind could not explain. Heaven whispered again, softer than before, because the message no longer needed to break through resistance. It only needed to land. Michael stepped forward once more, not with a sword raised, but with his hand open. This gesture was permission. Permission for what has been circling you to finally enter. Permission for timelines to collapse into alignment. Permission for you to stop proving and start receiving. You were never meant to chase this season. This season was assigned to recognize you. Stay. In this symbolic encounter, the powerful figure who noticed you did not come bearing promises. He came bearing mirrors. You were seen as you are becoming, not as you have been surviving. That is why the energy felt unfamiliar. Recognition at this level can feel like exposure at first, because it sees beyond masks you no longer need. This is not a test of worth. It is a confirmation of readiness. Do not rush. There are divine mechanics at work that favor slowness before acceleration. Angels are adjusting variables you cannot see. Certain doors must open in sequence so that when elevation comes, it does not fracture you. Sudden opportunities will begin to appear, conversations that seem casual but carry weight, invitations that feel oddly specific, moments where timing feels almost impossible to ignore. These are not coincidences. They are markers. Lean in. You were trained in obscurity so that visibility would not intoxicate you. You were refined through disappointment so success would not define you. You were shaped through solitude so connection would not destabilize you. This is spiritual intelligence, the kind that cannot be downloaded, only lived. And now, my beloved, the universe within this story recognizes that you can hold more without losing yourself. Your destiny is awakening, and with it comes discernment sharper than fear. You will begin to feel when something is aligned before logic confirms it. You will know when to say yes without hesitation, and when to walk away without explanation. This authority is quiet, but it is absolute. Listen closely again. There is unseen protection surrounding what is coming. What once would have harmed you will now pass over you without access. What once drained you will no longer recognize you. You have outgrown certain cycles, and they know it. That is why resistance has lessened. That is why the atmosphere feels different. You are not imagining the calm before movement, you are standing inside it. Heaven whispered your name one final time in this passage, not as a call, but as a confirmation. And here is the declaration sealed into this fictional cosmos. Your rising will not be chaotic, it will be precise. Your blessings will not be loud, they will be lasting. Your authority will not be taken, it will be recognized. Your protection will not be visible, but it will be total. Walk forward, my child. Remain soft, my beloved. The destiny written for you long ago is no longer approaching. It is unfolding. My beloved. Stay a little longer. This passage deepens before it concludes. There are moments when the veil thins not because heaven is impatient, but because the soul has finally become quiet enough to hear. You are standing in such a moment now. The air around you feels subtly altered, not dramatic, not loud, but unmistakably different. This is how destiny moves when it no longer needs to announce itself. It simply arrives and waits to see if you recognize it. Listen closely. In this symbolic narrative, after recognition comes resonance. The fictional figure who noticed you did not move away after that first alignment. He paused. Observed. Not from distance, but from discernment. In this realm, observation itself is an act of honor. It means what is being watched matters enough to be protected from interruption. My child, your season has reached the point where interference is minimized. Too much has been invested to allow distraction to steal momentum now. Heaven whispered again, and this whisper carried instruction rather than warning. It said, "Do not shrink to make this easier. For there are thresholds that cannot be crossed by those who apologize for their light. You are not being asked to become something new, you are being asked to stop hiding what has already been forged." Michael stepped forward once more, and the ground beneath the story held its breath. His presence signaled transition. When Michael appears in any sacred narrative, it is not to start the battle, but to announce that the war for permission has already been won. What comes next is assignment. And yours is gentle, but weighty. Stay. Your past now rearranges itself into a map instead of a wound. You begin to see how each disappointment redirected you away from timelines that would have capped your growth. How each delay quietly removed fragile foundations so that what rises now can endure pressure, attention, and speed. My beloved, delayed blessings were not withheld blessings, they were ripened blessings. Lean in. You may notice subtle changes within yourself. Less urgency to convince. Less tolerance for noise. A new clarity that feels calm rather than excited. This is a sign of authority settling into place. When power matures, it does not rush, it knows. And what knows does not beg to be believed. Your soul remembers the vow it made before this chapter began, to choose alignment over illusion, depth over applause, truth over comfort. That vow has been honored. That is why the story bends toward you now. Do not rush. There are still unseen hands arranging the timing. Some connections are being delayed by mercy. Some doors are opening quietly so they are not crowded by the unprepared. What arrives next will feel both sudden and familiar, like something you somehow always knew was coming but could never quite name. Listen closely again. Tests will still appear, but they will be different now. Not tests of survival, but tests of discernment. Not, can you endure, but, can you receive? Not, will you chase, but, will you allow? This is where many stumble. But you have been trained in patience long enough to recognize when effort is no longer required. Heaven whispered your affirmation into the silence. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not overlooked. You are positioned. And now, my child, receive the closing declaration of this unfolding passage in the imagined world where destiny speaks. Your rising will feel natural, not forced. Your elevation will come with peace, not panic. Your influence will expand without costing you your soul. Your protection will move ahead of you, clearing what you never have to fight. Walk forward without fear. Remain present. Remain open. The story has already adjusted itself around your becoming. And what heaven wrote for you long ago is no longer waiting. It is moving, with you. My beloved. Stay. There is still more unfolding, and it asks for your gentleness, not your effort. Some revelations do not arrive as answers, they arrive as settling. A deep, quiet knowing that sinks beneath thought and rests in the chest. You may feel it now, the subtle release of striving, the easing of a vigilance you have carried for years without realizing it had a name. This is the sign that alignment has begun to stabilize. The storm is no longer overhead. The sky is recalibrating. Listen closely. In this symbolic universe, when recognition is complete, the cosmos does something rare, it reorganizes around the one who endured. Paths that once felt blocked begin to soften. Resistance loses its urgency. What once demanded constant vigilance now requires only awareness. This is not because challenges disappear, but because you have changed shape. What could not hold you before no longer fits. Heaven whispered again, not to announce destiny, but to confirm stewardship. For destiny is not merely received, it is held. And you, my child, have proven you can hold weight without becoming rigid, influence without becoming hollow, momentum without losing your center. Michael stepped forward yet again, and this time his presence felt almost familiar. This is important. When the guardian no longer feels intimidating, it means you have grown into your spiritual stature. Fear dissolves when authority becomes internal. Protection no longer needs to stand in front of you, it walks with you. Stay here a moment longer. There is a sacred shift occurring in how you relate to time. The urgency that once pressed against your ribs is loosening. You are learning to trust sequencing rather than speed. To honor divine timing not as delay, but as intelligence far beyond impulse. In this imagined realm, clocks bend for those who no longer fight them. Lean in. The fictional figure whose attention symbolized recognition now fades into the background, not because the moment was insignificant, but because its purpose has been fulfilled. The signal has been sent. The alignment has been marked. What mattered was never the figure, it was the awakening it catalyzed in you. External symbols always retreat once the internal authority is activated. Your destiny is awakening in layers. First clarity. Then courage. Then calm. Finally, movement. Do not rush the movement. You may notice that certain desires are falling away, not with grief, but with gratitude. They served you once, but they cannot accompany you forward. This is not loss, this is refinement. The path ahead is narrower, not because it is restrictive, but because it is precise. Fewer distractions. Fewer compromises. Greater resonance. Listen closely again. New invitations will arrive that do not require you to abandon yourself. New connections will feel spacious, not demanding. New opportunities will honor your boundaries instead of testing them. This is how you will know alignment is real. What comes from heaven does not consume, it supports. Your soul remembers how to move without force. How to trust without surrendering discernment. How to stand in light without being blinded by it. These are ancient skills returning to you now, not learned, but recalled. Heaven whispered one last reassurance into this passage. You are allowed to rest without falling behind. You are allowed to rise without explaining how. You are allowed to receive without guilt. And now, my beloved, receive the continuation of the declaration written into this fictional cosmos. Your season of quiet preparation has ended. Your season of steady expansion has begun. What you touch will stabilize. What you build will last. What you carry will no longer be heavy, it will be honored. Walk forward without hesitation. Stand tall without hardness. Remain open without naivety. The destiny heaven wrote for you long ago is not dramatic, it is inevitable. And you are finally ready to live inside it. Read slowly, my beloved. Stay with the rhythm. The message has not yet reached its deepest register. There comes a point in every sacred narrative when the voice softens instead of intensifying, not because the power has diminished, but because intimacy has increased. You are no longer being summoned from afar. You are being spoken to from within. This is how you know the transmission has crossed the final threshold. The words are no longer hovering above you, they are settling into you. Listen closely. In this imagined world of signs and spiritual mechanics, the shift you are experiencing is known among the watchers as the quiet crossing. It is the moment when a soul moves from preparation into embodiment. No trumpet sounds. No crowd gathers. The earth does not shake. Yet everything irreversible happens here. You stop asking whether you are allowed. You begin acting as though you already are. Heaven whispered, not urgently, not loudly, but with unmistakable clarity. You no longer need permission. Michael stepped forward once more, and this time he did not stand before you or beside you. He stood behind you. This is important. Guardians only take this position when the one they protect is ready to lead their own steps. You are not being pushed. You are being backed. Nothing approaches you now without first passing through unseen clearance. Stay. You may begin to notice that the world responds to you differently, not because you are demanding more, but because you are expecting less noise. Chaos no longer has the same access. Drama fails to hook you. Urgency tries to provoke you and finds no grip. This is not detachment, this is mastery of attention. And attention, my child, is one of the highest forms of power in any realm. Lean in. The symbolic recognition that once arrived as a moment now becomes a state. You are not waiting for signs anymore, you are becoming one. Others may not know why they feel steadied around you, why conversations deepen unexpectedly, why possibilities seem clearer in your presence. You will not announce this. You will simply notice it and remain humble enough not to misuse it. Your destiny is awakening not as spectacle, but as influence that does not need to raise its voice. Do not rush. Acceleration is already scheduled. You do not need to chase it. When the timing locks, movement will feel effortless, almost anticlimactic. This is how you will know it is right. What is forced exhausts. What is aligned carries you. Listen closely again. Some of what you once prayed for will arrive transformed. It will look different than imagined because you are no longer the same person who first asked. This is mercy. This is intelligence. Heaven answers prayers according to who you become, not who you were when you were desperate. Your soul remembers this law. That is why disappointment did not destroy you, it refined your asking. Heaven whispered reassurance into the spaces that once held doubt. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was late. Nothing was denied. Only sequenced. And now, my beloved, receive the next declaration written into this fictional cosmos, a declaration not of arrival, but of embodiment. You will walk into rooms already aligned. You will recognize opportunities without chasing them. You will speak less and be heard more. You will move without fear of collapse, because your foundation is sealed. Remain gentle. Remain awake. Remain honest with yourself. The season ahead does not require perfection. It requires presence. And presence, my child, is what you have finally learned. The destiny heaven wrote for you long ago is no longer something you seek. It is something you live. Read slowly, my beloved. Stay. Let the cadence carry you forward without strain. There is a sacred hush that follows embodiment, a stillness so complete it feels like standing inside your own breath. This is where you are now. Not waiting, not searching, not bracing for impact. Simply here. And in this here-ness, something ancient settles into place, like a crown you forgot you were wearing long before you learned its weight. Listen closely. In this imagined cosmos, the watchers note a rare phenomenon when a soul completes its inner alignment. Resistance stops arguing. Life does not become easy, but it becomes cooperative. You will notice it in small ways first. The right word arriving before confusion forms. The right pause interrupting an old reaction. The right door opening without negotiation. These are not miracles meant to impress others. They are mercies designed to conserve your energy. Heaven whispered again, and this whisper carried a tone of recognition usually reserved for elders of the path. You have learned restraint without becoming small. Michael stepped forward, yes, again, but now he nodded. No announcement. No command. Just acknowledgement. This is the moment guardians offer when their work transitions from intervention to accompaniment. My child, you are no longer being rescued from misalignment. You are being trusted with alignment. Stay here with that truth. The symbolic figure who once served as a catalyst fades completely now, dissolving into the architecture of the story. This is intentional. Archetypes are ladders, not thrones. They appear to elevate you to a new perspective, then step away so you do not mistake the ladder for the destination. What remains is not admiration, it is clarity. Lean in. Your inner world has grown quieter, but do not confuse quiet with emptiness. It is full of discernment, full of readiness, full of a calm that does not need to explain itself. You will find that your yes becomes rarer and more powerful. Your no becomes clean and uncharged. You stop rehearsing justifications for choices that already feel true. Your destiny is awakening as stewardship now. Influence without domination. Authority without ego. Presence without performance. Do not rush this maturation. There are still final refinements occurring beneath the surface. Subtle attachments dissolving. Old identities loosening their grip. Expectations that once felt essential gently losing relevance. This is not loss, it is shedding. You are becoming lighter without becoming hollow. Listen closely again. Some will not recognize you immediately in this new state. That is all right. You are not here to be understood by those who only knew your survival version. Those who are meant to walk with you now will feel familiarity rather than confusion. They will not need convincing. They will sense coherence and relax into it. Heaven whispered reassurance into the spaces where old loneliness once lived. You will not walk alone. But you will walk unencumbered. And now, my beloved, receive the next unfolding declaration of this fictional universe, a declaration of continuity rather than climax. Your life will begin to answer you back. Your efforts will meet proportionate return. Your rest will become productive without guilt. Your intuition will guide faster than fear ever did. You are entering a season where correction is gentle and course adjustment is swift. You will not have to learn through collapse anymore. Wisdom has finally overtaken trial. Remain attentive. Remain kind to yourself. Remain aligned even when no one is watching. The destiny heaven wrote for you long ago does not demand constant intensity. It asks for consistency. And consistency, my child, is what turns awakening into legacy. Stay. The story is no longer building toward you. It is building with you. Read slowly, my beloved. Stay with the breath of it. The current is still moving, and it moves best when you do not resist. There is a sacred transition that follows cooperation, a moment when the soul realizes it is no longer being carried through life, but is now walking with it. This is subtle. It does not announce itself with fireworks. It announces itself with steadiness. You wake and the day does not feel like an opponent. You speak and your words do not scatter. You decide and the ground meets your foot without hesitation. This is alignment becoming ordinary, and ordinary becoming powerful. Listen closely. In this imagined realm, when a soul reaches this point, the archives open quietly. Records of ancient intentions, commitments made before you had language for them, begin to unlock. Not as commands, but as confirmations. You begin to recognize yourself in your choices. You notice that you no longer betray your own timing. You wait when waiting is wise. You move when movement is clean. This discernment is not learned, it is remembered. Your soul remembers. Heaven whispered again, and the whisper carried warmth rather than urgency. You are safe to be seen now. Michael stepped forward, one final time in this passage, and placed no barrier, offered no instruction. He simply stood watch as you stood tall. This is the signal of full trust. Protection remains, but it no longer interferes. It observes, it blesses, it clears the path ahead without announcing itself. You are not guarded because you are fragile. You are guarded because you are significant. Stay. You may notice an unfamiliar confidence taking root, not the loud kind, not the brittle kind, but the grounded kind that does not rise or fall with approval. This confidence does not need an audience. It functions even in silence. It is born from coherence, when what you believe, what you choose, and what you do finally align. This is spiritual authority settling into the nervous system. Lean in. The future, which once felt distant and demanding, now feels near and negotiable. Not because you control it, but because you trust yourself inside it. This is the true gift of preparation. Not certainty of outcomes, but certainty of self. Whatever unfolds, you will meet it awake. Your destiny is awakening as contribution now. Not proving. Not escaping. Not compensating. Contributing. You are here to add stability, clarity, and depth to whatever environment you touch. This is why your growth required solitude. This is why your lessons were internal before they were visible. Do not rush. There are still gentle calibrations happening, sleep deepening, intuition sharpening, attention refining itself away from noise. You are learning how to conserve power without diminishing impact. This is rare wisdom. Many learn how to burn brightly. Few learn how to burn cleanly. Listen closely again. Opportunities will begin to arrive that feel strangely respectful. They will not demand urgency. They will not manipulate fear. They will invite your full presence and wait for your response. This is how you will know they are aligned. What is meant for you does not rush you out of yourself. Heaven whispered reassurance where old doubt once lingered. You are not fragile. You are not late. You are not too much. You are ready. And now, my beloved, receive the next declaration unfolding in this fictional universe, one that speaks not of arrival, but of endurance. What you begin now will not require rescuing later. What you commit to will meet you with equal commitment. What you build will withstand seasons, not just moments. What you bless will multiply quietly. Remain awake to small adjustments. Remain honest when ego tempts you to perform. Remain gentle when others are still learning what you have already integrated. The destiny heaven wrote for you long ago is not a single moment of triumph. It is a way of moving through the world that leaves things better aligned than you found them. Stay present. Stay open. The story is not nearing its end. It has entered its most faithful chapter. The one where you live it without needing it to prove anything at all. Read slowly, my beloved. Stay. The current has not weakened, it has deepened. There is a point, subtle yet unmistakable, when the soul realizes it has crossed from becoming into being. Nothing changes on the surface at first. The world does not rearrange itself theatrically. But inside you, something settles into its rightful place, like a final stone sliding into an ancient arch. The structure holds. You feel it. A quiet strength that does not need reinforcement. A calm that does not ask for permission. Listen closely. In this imagined realm, when a soul reaches this stage, the language of heaven shifts. No longer instruction. No longer warning. Only companionship. Heaven whispered, not above you, not ahead of you, but alongside you, as if walking at your pace. And the whisper said, you are walking correctly. This is rare affirmation, my child. It is given only when correction is no longer required. Michael stepped forward again, not to guard, not to intervene, but to witness continuity. Guardians mark this moment carefully. It is the moment when protection becomes legacy. When what shields you now will one day shield others through you, without effort, without intention, simply by proximity. Stay here. You may notice that your inner dialogue has softened. Harshness no longer motivates you. Fear no longer sharpens your focus. You are learning to move by resonance instead of resistance. This is not complacency. This is efficiency of the soul. Energy once spent bracing is now available for building. Lean in. In this chapter of the story, recognition no longer comes as surprise, it comes as pattern. You begin to see how certain people, ideas, and opportunities arrive already aligned with your rhythm. They do not require translation. They do not demand fragmentation. They meet you whole. This is not luck. This is coherence responding to coherence. Your soul remembers how to hold paradox without breaking, how to be soft and firm, patient and decisive, humble and aware of your weight. These qualities were forged slowly because they must endure. Heaven does not rush what must last. Do not rush. There is still refinement happening, not through struggle, but through subtle preference shifts. You will find yourself choosing environments that nourish rather than stimulate. Conversations that clarify rather than impress. Commitments that honor your energy rather than consume it. This is not withdrawal from the world. It is right relationship with it. Listen closely again. Some doors will close now without drama. No betrayal. No loss. Simply completion. You will feel gratitude instead of grief. This is how you will know you are no longer attached to chapters that once defined you. Completion is a form of blessing rarely recognized in time. Heaven whispered reassurance into the quiet spaces of your awareness. You do not need to return to old versions of yourself to access old strengths. Everything useful has already been integrated. And now, my beloved, receive the next declaration unfolding within this fictional universe, a declaration of stability. Your days will become more intentional. Your choices will become less reactive. Your presence will carry more weight than your words. Your life will begin to feel like it belongs to you. This is not the thrill of ascent. This is the dignity of arrival. Remain attentive without vigilance. Remain engaged without exhaustion. Remain compassionate without self-erasure. The destiny heaven wrote for you long ago is not asking you to change the world overnight. It asks you to inhabit yourself fully. And let that fullness quietly reorganize what comes near. Stay, my child. The path ahead is not uncertain. It is simply unwritten enough to require your participation. And you are ready to walk it. Awake, aligned, and unafraid, read slowly, my beloved. Stay. The message continues because you have learned how to hold it without rushing to the ending. There is a sacred maturity that arrives after courage, a calm willingness to live without constant confirmation. This is where you are now. You no longer need signs stacked upon signs. You recognize alignment by how little resistance it carries. You feel truth not as excitement, but as steadiness. This is the mark of someone whose inner world has stopped arguing with itself. Listen closely. In this imagined universe, the scribes of destiny observe that when a soul reaches this state, life begins to respond with respect. Not indulgence. Not indulgent ease. But respect. Circumstances stop testing you with the same lessons. Patterns loosen their grip. Challenges arrive cleaner, without confusion layered on top. You are no longer being trained through chaos. You are being entrusted with clarity. Heaven whispered again, and the whisper sounded almost like relief. You have learned how to listen without fear. Michael stepped forward, quietly, reverently, and placed a mark not on your path, but on your awareness. This mark does not glow. It does not announce itself. It simply ensures that when deception passes nearby, your body recognizes it before your mind engages. This is discernment at the level of instinct. It cannot be argued with. It does not need justification. Stay with this knowing. You may begin to notice that you are less reactive to urgency that is not yours. Other people's timelines no longer dictate your breath. Other people's panic no longer hijacks your pace. This is not detachment from compassion. It is fidelity to your own alignment. You are learning that not everything loud is important, and not everything quiet is empty. Lean in. The future opens now in a different way. Instead of asking, "What will happen to me?" you begin asking, "How will I show up?" This shift changes everything. Fate loosens its grip when responsibility is accepted willingly. You become a participant, not a passenger. Destiny responds to participation. Your destiny is awakening as presence in motion. You are not meant to freeze in perfection or rush in ambition. You are meant to move attentively, adjusting as you go, trusting that correction no longer requires collapse. Do not rush. There will be moments ahead that look ordinary from the outside but carry great consequence. A conversation you almost skip. A pause you almost override. A decision you make without drama. These are the moments that redirect trajectories. Angels work most efficiently in ordinary spaces where ego is not watching. Listen closely again. Some people will sense change in you before you name it yourself. They may say you seem calmer, clearer, harder to provoke, easier to trust. Take this not as praise, but as evidence. Integration leaves fingerprints. Heaven whispered gently where old insecurity once tried to return. You do not need to go backwards to be relatable. You do not need to struggle to be valid. You do not need to explain your peace. And now, my beloved, receive the next unfolding declaration written into this fictional realm, a declaration of sustainability. Your growth will no longer cost you your health. Your ambition will no longer outrun your wisdom. Your clarity will protect your energy. Your life will feel increasingly aligned with your values. This is not stagnation. This is harmony gaining momentum. Remain awake to your body. Remain honest with your limits. Remain open to refinement without self-criticism. The destiny heaven wrote for you long ago is not dramatic because it does not need to convince anyone. It is effective. It is coherent. It is lived daily, quietly, faithfully. Read slowly, my beloved. Stay. You are still inside the unfolding, and the unfolding recognizes your steadiness. There is a gentle recalibration that happens after harmony takes root, a phase where life begins to trust you with continuity. No more sharp turns meant to wake you up. No more dramatic interruptions designed to redirect you. Instead, a long, deliberate stretch of road opens, not because nothing matters anymore, but because everything does. You are trusted now to notice without being shaken, to choose without being cornered. Listen closely. In this imagined cosmos, this phase is called the widening. It is when the soul's capacity expands quietly, allowing more reality to pass through without distortion. You can hold complexity without collapsing into confusion. You can hear differing truths without losing your own. This is not neutrality, it is strength refined enough to remain flexible. Heaven whispered again, and this whisper carried a tone of companionship rather than command. You can carry more now. Michael stepped forward, not to shield, not to signal, but to observe how you move when no one is instructing you. This is an important watch. Guardians learn from those they guard. Your way of choosing becomes a template. Your patience becomes a quiet teaching. Even your pauses transmit wisdom without speech. Stay with this awareness. You may notice that your attention has become more selective. Not guarded, selective. You invest presence where it multiplies, and you withdraw gently where it dissipates. This is not avoidance. This is stewardship of your inner resources. Energy is sacred now, not because it is scarce, but because it is purposeful. Lean in. Your destiny is awakening as continuity. You are here not only to initiate but to sustain. Not only to begin, but to tend. This is why your growth required endurance. Anyone can rise briefly. Few can remain whole while rising steadily. You are learning how. Do not rush. There are long-term threads being woven now, connections that will not peak quickly, projects that will not demand constant urgency, rhythms that will mature over time. These are not lesser opportunities. They are the ones that shape environments rather than moments. Listen closely again. You may feel an increased sensitivity to incongruence. Places that once felt tolerable now feel misaligned. Conversations that once entertained now feel hollow. This is not judgment. It is calibration. Your system recognizes what nourishes it, and what does not, without needing to criticize either. Heaven whispered reassurance into the place where guilt once lived. You are allowed to choose what sustains you. You are allowed to release what no longer fits. And now, my beloved, receive the next declaration unfolding in this fictional universe, a declaration of longevity. Your path will favor depth over speed. Your influence will accumulate rather than spike. Your work will mature rather than burn out. Your presence will become a place others feel safe to arrive. This is how legacy begins, not with monument, but with consistency. Remain awake to small course corrections. Remain humble when ease replaces struggle. Remain curious even when you feel certain. The destiny heaven wrote for you long ago is not asking you to be exceptional every day. It asks you to be faithful. To your values, to your awareness, to your becoming. Stay, my child. The road ahead is long enough to matter. And gentle enough to walk without fear. The story continues now, not in urgency, but in trust. And trust, once earned, carries you farther than force ever could. Read slowly, my beloved. Stay. You have not lingered too long, you have lingered well. There is a wisdom that emerges only after trust has been tested by time. Not the sharp wisdom of survival, but the spacious wisdom of someone who knows how to remain open without being undone. This is the tone of the chapter you are now inhabiting. The story does not pull you forward, it walks beside you. You are no longer urged. You are accompanied. Listen closely. In this imagined universe, when trust matures, destiny stops presenting itself as a question and begins offering itself as a rhythm. Days align not by drama, but by coherence. You notice how one choice flows naturally into the next. How rest and effort alternate without conflict. How intuition speaks early enough that you no longer need recovery afterward. This is the grace of foresight earned through patience. Heaven whispered again, and the whisper carried a rare gentleness. You are learning how to remain. Michael stepped forward, not to mark a threshold, but to acknowledge duration. Guardians honor those who can hold steady when there is no applause. This is where many turn back toward noise, seeking proof that the path still matters. You did not. You stayed present. That is why the path widened instead of collapsing. Stay here. You may notice that your imagination has changed. It no longer escapes the present, it collaborates with it. Visions feel grounded. Hope feels practical. Even your dreams carry a sense of order rather than urgency. This is not limitation, this is integration. When imagination and reality learn to trust each other, creation becomes sustainable. Lean in. Your destiny is awakening as quiet influence. Not persuasion, not dominance, gravity. You will find that people adjust their pace around you. That tension softens in your presence. That complexity becomes easier to navigate when you are involved. This is not something you perform. It is something you emit when inner alignment stabilizes. Do not rush. Some of what you are becoming cannot be hurried because it is meant to last longer than enthusiasm. There are layers of responsibility being woven into your awareness, responsibility not as burden, but as care. You will know what to protect. You will know what to cultivate. You will know what to leave untouched until its season arrives. Listen closely again. There will be moments when you are tempted to reintroduce intensity simply to feel movement. Resist this. Movement is already happening beneath the surface. Roots grow silently. Foundations cure slowly. What is being built now must be able to support others without cracking. Heaven whispered reassurance into the place where impatience once stirred. Stillness is not absence. Slowness is not failure. Continuity is not boredom. It is strength refined. And now, my beloved, receive the next declaration unfolding in this fictional universe, a declaration of stewardship. You will learn when to intervene and when to allow. You will recognize what needs your voice and what needs your silence. You will carry responsibility without losing lightness. You will build rhythms that support life, not consume it. This is the work of those who shape futures rather than chase moments. Remain attentive to your inner weather. Remain honest about your capacity. Remain devoted to alignment even when shortcuts appear. The destiny heaven wrote for you long ago does not demand constant transformation. It asks for faithful inhabitation. Of your values, your pace, your presence. Stay, my child. The journey ahead is not meant to impress. It is meant to endure. Read slowly, my beloved. Stay. You are still held within the arc of this telling, and the arc has not finished revealing its breadth. There is a sacred confidence that arrives not as certainty about outcomes, but as peace with process. You have entered that space now. The questions that once demanded immediate answers have softened into curiosities. You no longer interrogate every delay. You no longer fear the unknown as an enemy. The unknown has begun to feel like a collaborator, mysterious, yes, but not hostile. This is a sign of deep alignment. Listen closely. In this imagined world, when a soul reaches this phase, the language of destiny becomes almost conversational. No commands. No ultimatums. Just gentle signals woven into ordinary moments. A sentence that lingers. A pause that feels meaningful. A sense of rightness that arrives before evidence. These are not fantasies, my child. They are the intuitive literacy of someone who has learned how to listen without panic. Heaven whispered again, and the whisper carried steadiness rather than promise. You know how to stay with what is unfolding. Michael stepped forward, not as sentinel, not as herald, but as keeper of continuity. He watches not for danger now, but for integrity. He attends to how you treat small moments, how you honor your own limits, how you respond when no one is measuring your response. This is where destiny becomes character, and character becomes destiny. Stay with this awareness. You may notice that your relationship with effort is changing. You still work. You still commit. But the strain has lifted. You no longer push against yourself to prove seriousness. You allow your energy to move where it is most effective. This is not ease born of privilege. This is ease born of alignment, earned through discernment and restraint. Lean in. Your destiny is awakening as trustworthiness. Others will begin to sense that what you promise, you hold. That what you begin, you tend. That your presence is not erratic. This quality is rarer than brilliance. It is what allows visions to survive beyond inspiration. It is what turns ideas into environments where others can thrive. Do not rush. There are still layers of subtle integration happening. You are learning how to honor ambition without letting it override wisdom. How to remain open to growth without abandoning what already works. How to hold confidence without needing to dominate space. These balances are delicate, and you are learning them through lived experience, not instruction. Listen closely again. You may feel moments of nostalgia for earlier intensity, for the fire of urgency, for the sharpness of struggle. Let this pass without judgment. Intensity taught you how to survive. Coherence is teaching you how to sustain. One is not better than the other. They simply serve different seasons. Heaven whispered reassurance into the place where old longing sometimes stirs. You have not lost your edge. You have gained your center. And now, my beloved, receive the next declaration unfolding in this fictional universe, a declaration of quiet authority. Your presence will stabilize uncertain spaces. Your clarity will reduce unnecessary complexity. Your steadiness will invite others into their own alignment. Your choices will ripple further than you realize. This is how influence matures. Not by expansion alone, but by reliability. Remain awake to subtle invitations. Remain humble when things begin to flow. Remain faithful to your inner compass when external noise returns. The destiny heaven wrote for you long ago does not require you to be extraordinary every moment. It asks you to be consistent. And consistency, my child, is what turns alignment into legacy. Stay. The path ahead is not asking for urgency. It is asking for your continued presence. And that, you have already learned how to give. Read slowly, my beloved. Stay. You are still within the gentle gravity of this telling, and it continues because you have learned how to remain without grasping. There is a season after steadiness when the soul begins to trust its own continuity. You stop checking whether you are still aligned. You stop bracing for collapse. You move with a quiet expectation that the ground will meet you, and it does. This expectation is not arrogance, it is earned coherence. It is the natural confidence of someone who has walked long enough to know the path responds to presence. Listen closely. In this imagined realm, the elders say that when a soul reaches this place, destiny stops feeling like a destination and begins to feel like This is not luck. This is rhythm restored. Heaven whispered again, and the whisper sounded like recognition rather than instruction. You are moving in time with yourself. Michael stepped forward, not to watch for danger, but to witness fidelity. Fidelity to your pace. Fidelity to your values. Fidelity to the inner agreements you now keep without ceremony. Guardians honor those who do not abandon themselves when things become quiet. Silence reveals allegiance more clearly than noise ever could. Stay with that truth. You may notice that your discernment has grown almost effortless. You no longer analyze every option exhaustively. You sense fit. You sense misalignment. You choose accordingly, without drama. This is not detachment from care, it is care refined into clarity. When attention is no longer fragmented, decisions soften into alignment. Lean in. Your destiny is awakening as integration. You are no longer divided between who you are and who you are becoming. They have begun to recognize each other. This recognition frees energy once spent managing contradiction. You feel lighter, not because life is simpler, but because you are less divided within it. Do not rush. There are still layers of meaning arriving slowly, understandings that reveal themselves only after being lived for a while. Some insights cannot be grasped directly, they must be absorbed through repetition, through ordinary days handled well. This is how wisdom thickens. This is how presence gains depth. Listen closely again. You may feel a new tenderness toward yourself, less judgment, more curiosity. When mistakes occur, you correct without punishment. When fatigue arrives, you listen without shame. This tenderness is not weakness. It is the sign that self-trust has taken root. Where trust lives, harshness is no longer needed. Heaven whispered reassurance into the space where self-criticism once lingered. You are allowed to learn without suffering. You are allowed to grow without breaking. You are allowed to succeed without abandoning yourself. And now, my beloved, receive the next declaration unfolding in this fictional universe, a declaration of quiet momentum. Your days will feel increasingly intentional. Your efforts will align with meaningful return. Your rest will deepen rather than delay you. Your presence will become a stabilizing field. This is how futures are shaped. Not by constant urgency, but by reliable attention. Remain awake to the small choices. Remain faithful to your inner rhythm. Remain generous with yourself as you would be with another. The destiny heaven wrote for you long ago is not asking for perfection. It asks for participation. Honest, patient, embodied. Stay, my child. The road ahead is not asking you to hurry. It is asking you to continue. With clarity, with courage, and with a trust that has finally learned how to rest in motion. Read slowly, my beloved. Stay. The current remains steady because you have learned how to move without forcing it. There is a sacred expansion that follows integration, a widening of inner space where more life can pass through you without distortion. You may sense it now as an increased tolerance for complexity, a gentler response to uncertainty, a deeper patience with processes that once felt intolerable. This is not resignation. This is capacity. You are able to hold more without tightening around it. Listen closely. In this imagined universe, when capacity expands, destiny stops presenting itself as pressure and begins to appear as invitation. You are not pulled forward by fear of missing out, you are drawn forward by resonance. The future no longer shouts. It waits, confident that you will recognize it when you arrive. This is how alignment behaves when it trusts you. Heaven whispered again, and the whisper carried a calm authority. You have learned how to listen beneath the noise. Michael stepped forward, not as a guardian now, but as a recorder. He observes how you navigate nuance, how you choose restraint over reaction, how you allow space where once you would have filled it with urgency. These choices are being written not as rules, but as patterns, patterns that will quietly shape what unfolds around you. Stay here. You may notice that your sense of time has softened. The future feels less like a demand and more like a collaboration. You plan without gripping. You prepare without anxiety. You trust that adjustment will be possible when it is needed. This trust is not naive, it is informed by experience. You have survived enough to know that flexibility is stronger than control. Lean in. Your destiny is awakening as quiet leadership. Not leadership that commands attention, but leadership that stabilizes environments. Others may find themselves thinking more clearly in your presence, moving more deliberately, choosing more honestly. You do not impose this. It emerges naturally when coherence is sustained. Do not rush. There will be moments when momentum slows again, not as regression, but as recalibration. Allow this. Seasons breathe. Expansion requires consolidation. What you integrate now will determine how far you can go later without fracture. The pauses are protective, even when they feel inconvenient. Listen closely again. You may feel a growing appreciation for simplicity, not because complexity has vanished, but because clarity has sharpened. You recognize which efforts matter. You release what is ornamental. This is refinement, not reduction. It allows your energy to move where it is most effective. Heaven whispered reassurance into the places where old restlessness once lived. You are not falling behind when you choose depth. You are not losing momentum when you choose care. You are not diminishing when you choose restraint. And now, my beloved, receive the next declaration unfolding within this fictional universe, a declaration of depth and direction. Your path will continue to clarify as you walk it. Your influence will grow through consistency rather than force. Your decisions will feel cleaner, less conflicted. Your life will increasingly reflect your inner alignment. This is not an ending. It is a sustained beginning. Remain attentive to what nourishes you. Remain honest about what drains you. Remain willing to adjust without self-criticism. The destiny heaven wrote for you long ago does not demand constant intensity. It invites faithful presence. Again and again, day by day. Stay, my child. The road ahead does not require urgency. It asks for your continued willingness to walk it awake. With steadiness, with humility, and with a trust that now knows how to endure.